This is Joy News Prime.
Welcome to Joy News Prime. My name is Israelite. Coming up, President Mahama once again takes on opposition New Patriotic Party on Ghana's high debt profile, saying rather than condemn him, his government deserves commendation for attracting more revenue than any other regime. Police put on display ahead of launch of Operation Father Christmas. It says should deter crime this Yuletime. NAGRA protests frequent headcounts and inspections of teacher certificates and its impact on teaching and learning.
And in business tonight, ratings agency Moody's gives Ghana a B3 negative, saying government is expected to spend more than 30% of the country's revenue on 2016 election.
Etonam say will be here with the business news in about 30 minutes. And the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development unveils 2 sanitation projects to coincide with World Toilet Day. We also have sports, entertainment, and Joy News Interactive, all coming up over the next 2 hours of this bulletin, which is also available across Europe on ABN Television, on the Sky platform, as well as Freeview Connect. Stay tuned. President John Mahama wrapped up his nationwide Changing Lives tour in the Volta region by taking a swipe at the opposition New Patriotic Party. Speaking at a rally in Ho, the president poked fun at the minority in parliament, saying they had been sleeping on the job.
The last time I talked about the chief propagandist of Hitler. He was called Goebbels. And I said that there is a lot of Goebbelian misinformation in our system, where people intentionally put out propaganda to mislead other people, to mislead the electorate. Recently, there have been comments about the economy. Indeed, the minority held a press conference on the economy. And at the press conference, they said, this government has borrowed a lot of money, and they don't know what we have done with the money. Then it means they are sleeping in parliament. Because this government cannot borrow one single loan without taking it to parliament for approval. And in the approval, you have to write everything you are going to do, use the money for. So if you are the same people approving the loans for us in parliament, and you said we don't know what, you don't know what we are doing with it, then you don't deserve to be in parliament.
The president also lampooned the MPP for the opposition party's internal wrangling.
Inmate of some party. The other day was complaining that this government has raised more money, more revenue than any other government in the history of the country. Is that a sin? Is it a sin to raise more revenue? And I'm surprised that as an economist, you find something wrong with raising revenue. If we raise revenue, it is what we use to do public works. Government, every money that we spend in this country for school feeding, for livelihood empowerment against poverty, for all the programs that we have, subsidies to secondary schools, free day school, where does it come from? It's revenue from the taxes we pay. The money doesn't come from John Mahama's pocket. It comes from the revenue that we raise. And so if we have raised the most money in the history of Ghana, I thought he should be patting me on my shoulder and not raising it as a sin of my government. Raising revenue is not a sin. But perhaps the most dubious one is the issue of debt. You must always read between the lines. Recently, you would have heard that, oh, this government has borrowed so much money, it has put Ghana in debt. Government is a continuum. And so governments leave debts behind, and other governments inherit them and pay them off, but they also borrow to do the infrastructural projects. So it's a rolling thing.
Well, the National Democratic Congress set to hold parliamentary primaries in the Ketu South constituency despite a pending court case. A disqualified aspirant, Jim Morty, has sued the governing party for wrongful disqualification. Mr. Morty is, among others, seeking an injunction on the parliamentary primaries. Addressing a news briefing today, General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esedun Ketia, said barring any last-minute changes, the polls will come off in the area.
In two constituencies, one in Volta region, that is Volta South, and the other one in Chanapaga, are the constituencies where the parliamentary elections and I guess the presidential elections will not be conducted. It has been deferred and it will be conducted later. Having said this, we are in a democracy and there is time between now and Saturday. So the party is ready to abide by any court decisions or court restraining orders for any aspect of the elections. But as we sit here, we know that we are not holding the elections in Wata South, and then we are not holding elections in China, Ada. There are two cases that are known to us that are being handled in court. Yesterday, we had information that one had been disposed of, paving the way for the elections, the parliamentary elections to take place. The other one is in court, and we are still dealing with it with our lawyers. We have information about some process that has been filed in K2 South. So the process is with our lawyers. They will advise us about the way forward and we will comply. The Electoral Commission has conducted briefing of their election and collation officers. And we have agreed on the setup for the collation of the presidential elections results of the Electoral Commission. And we have agreed on the term, minimum term within which the results of the elections must all be known, declared and known to the public.
In a related development, the Cape Coast South constituency is one of the seats being contested in the NDC primary slated for this weekend. The race is between two main contenders, former Deputy Finance Minister and incumbent MP Kweku Rekitagan and Thomas Skillful Emisa, a banker. Richard Kodonyako reports on the keen contest, which would be decided in the next few days.
Ebo Bartonodro used to be the MP for Cape Coast until the constituency was divided into two, the Cape Coast North and South. Kweku Rekitagan became the first MP for Cape Coast South and is seeking to be re-elected. He has been echoing his track record, which he claims should easily earn him the seat.
I have been instrumental in basically lobbying for projects to be done here in Cape Coast, you know, such as roads and many other things that obviously government do. I was instrumental in bringing 25 kilometers of roads here in Cape Coast, new roads to be done, and they are being done, and also roads that are to be, you know, refurbished, if you want to put it that way. There's going to be asphalt in the town roads, which will start very soon. I understand the contractor has taken his mobilization and everything. And I have no doubt in my mind that the wider Cape Coast will give me the mandate.
Thomas Skillful Emisa, who works with the Bank of Ghana, says the deputy minister should be denied his second attempt because his presence as an MP has not translated into any meaningful development for the people of Cape Coast.
Education is a problem to our people, job, and how to harness our health tourism potential. That's what I mean, and I believe I stand in a better way to deliver the best for my people. It's not difficult when you know the message you are putting across, and it's a relationship between you and the grassroots. And I believe I have an excellent relationship with the delegates.
Kweku Rekitagan, the incumbent, has recently bought a school bus that conveys school children to school and has instituted what he calls a pension scheme for the fisher folk in the constituency. But Thomas Skillful Emisa, the banker, says it is his presence in the race that has compelled the incumbent to spend some cash.
In our normal price, we could have said peer pressure. if I'm forcing him to spend, it means I'm doing a good job, because there's a person who has been away, has lost touch with the grassroots. So if now what the people need and what they were expecting from him, I'm forcing him to do it, then we thank God.
But the Deputy Trade Minister says proper spending of cash will be seen if he succeeds in winning the primaries.
If he's forcing me to spend to do good things, then that is good. If that is what he thinks. But look, when I go to contest, I don't think about my opponent. My opponent never mattered to me. Mine is to do what I set my eyes to do. I focus on the things I want to do.
Of course, there will be comprehensive back-to-back coverage here on Joy News and on all multimedia platforms of the NDC primaries coming up this weekend, so you stay with us. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more news. Please don't go away. Residents of Amanfro near Accra say they are having sleepless nights after a string of recent robberies in their community. Some female victims say that robbers threatened them with rape in order to force them to surrender their cash and other valuables. At least 2 houses were attacked by the robbers, who wielded guns and knives. The residents attribute the latest incident to a reduction in police patrol activities there and want the security agencies to step up their game. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo was in the community and filed this report.
After months of relative peace here at Amanfro from the attacks of armed robbers, well, this Monday night they were back, and this is one of the houses that they came to. They made away with a number of items. You would hear from the woman who lives here in a well, but this is how they got in. They managed to cut through the nets, got their hand in there, got the door open through the net, and then they moved in.
I just saw the robber come out of my brother's room and then enter my room. And then he was like, shut up, this is robbery. That's what they said. Before, and then they just took my phone.
So if you sum it all up, about how much?
About 600 Ghana. They took my daughter's laptop and my brother's phone too.
Okay. Did they threaten you with anything?
Yes, they said if I shout, the one inside had a knife, and then the one outside had a gun. So they said if I shout, they will choke me. That's what they said. And they said I should choose between my daughter and myself. So
what did they mean by that, choosing between your daughter?
I didn't understand. So I asked them again. They said, so choose between your daughter. So
as in they wanted to rape either yourself or your daughter?
Yes. So I was shaking, and I started begging them. And then I begged and begged and begged, and then they said I should give them more money.
The former Inspector General of Police visited the area in August following a surge in armed robbery cases. He posted numerous personnel there. There has since not been any armed robbery incident until last Sunday. The residents say the fresh attacks are the result of reduced police activity.
When they started patrolling, this thing it came to a standstill. So, but now that our road has gone bad again, so the police too have stopped patrolling. That's why I think the robbers are coming back. I think that is the main cause. That's why the robbers are coming back, because the police too have stopped patrolling. Even as at this moment, I've not heard them doing anything.
The residents are asking the security agencies to do more to protect them.
To some extent, because we thought it has stopped entirely. But once this happened, people are still we fear. As at now, yesterday it was we panic a lot, because we don't know when the people will come. So if spies also come around, it will help. So we are appealing to the government to help.
Poor road infrastructure here has continuously hindered police operations. Despite promises from the Member of Parliament and Municipal Chief Executive, nothing has been done about the roads. For some, unless the road network is fixed, the problem would get worse.
It has brought so many armed robbers into this our community. Whenever you want to run away, they will just stop you because of the road, the nature of the road. So it has bring so many problems.
This structure, built to serve as police post, was completed about 2 months ago, but it's not been opened because the ECG is yet to connect electricity in there. The result is the police continuing to operate from uncomfortable tents. For Joy News, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, Amanfro.
And we have a reaction from the police command to the story in a bit. Before then, though, police in the Eastern region have arrested 15 suspected criminals between the ages of 18 and 38 for allegedly selling and smoking substances suspected to be Indian hemp. The suspects were arrested in different locations during a 3-hour special operation carried out by the police in the Koforidua municipality. Haruna Yusuf Wumpone filed this report.
Some of the areas the police arrested the suspects from include Sushen, Oyoko, Mamba, Gas Zongo, Agatha, and Koforidua Morovia, among others. The police confiscated 1 parcel of Indian hemp, 2 machetes, 1 knife, 1 laptop, and an Opel Astra. Briefing the media after the operation, the public relations officer of the Eastern Regional Police Command, ASP Yankitia Yeboah, explained that the suspects will be thoroughly screened and those found culpable will be dealt with according to law.
The swoop is not an day on that. Despite that, it is in conjunction with the Father Christmas 2015. It will be carried on until we raid all of the municipalities and the suburbs of such mysteries. We also like to appeal to the community members to hint us of these things of drug laws and all associated criminals.
Now, to ensure crime is kept to a minimum this Yuletide, the Accra Region Police Command Thursday launched Operation Father Christmas. The launch was to afford the command an opportunity to display both the human and material resources at its disposal in combating criminal elements. Latif Idris joined the show of force parade through the principal streets of Accra and reports.
The parade involved nearly 500 officers, with about 100 police trucks making their way through the city. The Accra Region Police Command says the show of force seeks to signal criminal elements about the police's readiness to thwart whatever plans they may have during the festive season. Regional Commander DCOP Christian Tete Yohuno tells Joy News they intend to make the national capital very uncomfortable for persons with criminal intent.
As we are here, there are people who are also tackling the criminal dens, shaking up all criminal areas. So just from here, you see the output of what we are doing here, and those people who are already on the ground. All district establishments, they are on the field. They are in the criminal hideout and they're smoking them out.
About the recent armed robbery incident that led to the death of a young man at Sakumono, the regional commander said the police is closing in on the suspect, adding that some arrests have been made.
We have arrested some number of robbers, those who snatched vehicles. About 4 suspects are now being held now. From the same Sakumono AK, we have also arrested 2 other suspects who claim to be part of the robbery gangs that have been robbing Sakumono, Techunugwa, and East Environs. Those suspects are also being prepared for court. And so we are also closing in on those we suspect to be the brains behind the recent murder, robbery and murder at Sakumono. I will not tell you where we have reached now, but I tell you that we have some people in mind and then we are closing on them.
Monday's robbery at Amanfrom, also in Accra, has left residents traumatized, having come after weeks of relief following the establishment of a police post there. According to the residents, the police have vacated the post. The regional commander, however, describes it as an isolated incident.
You can follow up the trend from the time we started operation there and see whether there's that continuous operation, there's a continuous crime even being committed. I've never heard of this. It is maybe 1 or 2 isolated incidents that may occur, but I tell you that Amafro is relatively calm.
Today's show of force is a precursor to Friday's official launch of Father Christmas, an annual police operation aimed at intensifying crime combat during Christmas and New Year.
In a related development, the Ashanti Region Police Command has also launched its Operation Father Christmas. The Ashanti Regional Police Commander Nathan Kowiwachi explains some mechanisms the command is putting in place to combat crime.
As I'm talking with you now, we have a lot of CID men around Kenetia and on the terminals, so that we make sure that there will not be pickpocketing. People come and trade and go without any problem. In the unlikely event that something happens, then we need the public. That's why I'm saying that on the highways, now we have 4 volunteers. In the unlikely event that there's a highway robbery, then we all move to the bush and look for the people by any means necessary. Police is available and able to help them to live in comfort. I tell you to send a clear message to the criminals that we are ready, we are able, we are capable, that this Christmas, whatever happens, is Motamo and no Bagawa.
The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAD, is unhappy with the frequent headcount and inspection of certificates of staff of the Ghana Education Service by some institutions, including the Public Services Commission and the Bureau of National Investigation. According to NAGRAD, the frequent headcount exercise is negatively affecting the output of its members. The headcount of all staff of GES by the Controller and Accountant General's Department aims at weeding out ghost names blamed for the bloating off the public sector payroll. As part of the exercise, teachers were to present documentation to provide proof that they had been legally employed by the government. Since the exercise began, a number of state institutions, including the Bureau of National Investigation, Ghana Education Service, and the Public Services Commission, have also been doing their own headcounts. Addressing journalists Thursday, NAGRAD General Secretary Stanislav Nabom described the frequent headcount exercise as chaotic.
The situation is so chaotic that anybody may at any time go to any school to count the heads of teachers and inspect their certificates. If care is not taken, the chiefs and elders of the communities will soon jump into the fray, turning the whole exercise into one of little or no stability. It is our firm conviction that management ought to come out clear on who qualifies to count teachers and or inspect their certificates. It is dehumanizing that teachers are treated in such despicable styles. The exercises obfuscate teachers because they place them under avoidable stress and go on to affect performance. For instance, teachers are required to produce a litany of documents, some of which are not just relevant to the exercise being conducted. They are further made to queue for hours on end to have their turn with their validators, who spew out all manner of threats to innocent teachers, to the extent that the BNI now perambulates schools brandishing handcuffs as if visiting a bunch of hardened criminals. As a result of these headcounts and inspections of certificates, a lot of contact hours are lost, which will eventually lead to poor performances in schools. If it is true that standards of education are falling, such exercises account for them to a large extent.
Energy expert and former chief executive of the Volta River Authority is advising government against plans to turn to coal as a source of fuel in the generation of electricity. The Volta River Authority and the Power Ministry have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chinese firm Shenzhen Energy to construct a 1,000 megawatts coal-powered plant to augment the country's energy needs. But Dr. Charles Rekubrobe says the pollution of the environment that comes with coal is massive, adding that Ghana could also be flouting major protocols on climate change by signing on this project.
For the first time, developing countries are required also to make commitments. Under Kyoto, developing countries were exempt. So it's important for us that everything we do must be set in the context of how do we meet our obligations under the climate change. Why aren't we placing generation from thermal plants and cleaner gas ahead of going to opt for a 1,000 megawatt coal-powered production? That, in a sense, is my worry. You know, you have got excess gas which can probably meet this country's capacity for the next 10 to 15, 20 years. And yet we're in a hurry to sign a contract to generate 1,000 megawatts of coal. A coal is a commodity we don't even have in this country.
So if we're to go coal, where will we get the coal from?
That's exactly the question that...
Some have said South Africa is an option.
Pardon?
Some have said we can get some from...
It does not matter. I don't even want to think about it. We've got enough gas to produce clean... You know, the irony of what we are doing is that our former President Kufuor is the UN ambassador for climate change, for Christ's sake. He is going around the world on behalf of the UN, telling everybody why they should have policies that are more climate friendly and climate responsible. I don't even want to get into where we'll get the coal from. I'm saying that it is not time to even think of it. I think it's premature. It cannot be justified. You cannot be promoting carbon credits and at the same time contributing to huge emissions of carbon. You know, there may be clean coal technology, but the cost of achieving clean coal is probably more expensive than generating with thermal,
Okay,
with gas.
Doc, we've seen the Power Minister mention a number of things. He promised that by the end of this year, load shedding will end. You can tell that he's exploring virtually every option available.
Yeah, but that will not end the doomsday at the end of this year. We are only at the memorandum of understanding stage. So if you are talking coal as a solution, as your savior, look 10 years down the line. There must be some other reason why people are in a rush to do coal.
Right, this is going on. You've been in this business for a long time. What do you think it's down to?
Well, it's simply because somebody has got something to sell, and maybe they are promising the earth, and people feel they should sign up to it. Because for me, it does not make any technical or commercial sense. You know, why would you think the World Bank will come and support us to develop and develop more gas? Why would we sit here in a position saying we are about to generate so much gas? The most sensible thing to do is to think how long and how much generation can we develop from the current resources and the resources that are incoming.
We're taking a break at this point. When we come back, we'll bring you business news with Eton Amse. Stay tuned. It's time for business, and Etonam says here. Good evening to you, Etonam.
Hello, Israel.
So yesterday, Fitch had something to say about Ghana in today's
the 2016 budget. In today's Moody's, apparently we've been rated B3 with a negative outlook, and that means that it's a junk bond. You know what that means, Israel. And they're actually expecting that in 2016 we'll overspend.
More gloom.
Anyways.
Hope you have something else to cheer us up.
Well, yeah. Let's see. The 2016 elections estimated expenditure and investments into the power sector are the two main threats to economic stability gained over the last few years. This is according to ratings agency Moody's in its reports on the 2016 budget. The prediction backs historical fears that Ghana's election cycle could derail progress made in stabilizing the economy. In a statement released Thursday, the agency is predicting that partly on the basis of these fears, government's target of reducing the deficit from 7.3% in 2015 to 5.3% will even not be met. Moody's, which has already rated Ghana's credit worthiness as extremely bad to B3 negative, says government is expected to spend more than 30% of revenues in 2015 on servicing debts, and this is a major constraint on Ghana's credit profile. But the report expressed satisfaction that government has exceeded its revenue generation targets in 2015. It is also hopeful that the expected oil revenue from commercial production in the 10 fields will boost economic growth in 2016. According to the statement, Ghana's prudent fiscal and monetary policy stance is credit positive. Last Friday, Ghana's finance minister said Tekpe presented the 2016 budget, which aims to reduce the fiscal deficit to 5.3% of GDP in 2016 from the targeted 5.3% in 2015 and the 10.2% deficit in 2014. Then, on Monday, the central bank further tightened monetary policy to suppress inflation and anchor inflation expectations. Although downside risks persist, proactive policy adjustments should help to preserve macroeconomic stability and support sovereign credit quality, a credit positive. The comparison of fiscal results over the first 9 months of the year with the budget targets and with 2014 budget execution data over the same period shows outperformance, in particular the revenue side. Revenues and grants to GDP were 17.0% of GDP as of September 2015 as compared to the 16.3% target in the revised budget and in contrast to 15.6% over the same period last year. Total expenditures and arrears clearance at 22.1% of GDP was broadly in line with the targets and with last year's performance, whereas the fiscal deficit registered 5.1% of GDP over the first 9 months this year against a deficit target of 5.7% of GDP and 6.4% of GDP deficit recorded over the same period last year. The report also said election-related expenditures in 2016 are also a risk because they have contributed to past expenditure overruns. And an interest rate hike in December is now possible looking at current market conditions. That's the signal coming from the U.S. Federal Reserve. The Central Bank of the USA over the past 3 months has failed to increase interest rates due to what it describes as unfavorable market conditions. But as George Riafe reports, the hike, if it happens, could come with some serious implications for the Ghanaian economy.
U.S. has seen its lending rates locked at zero since the financial crisis that hit that country. But the question is, should Ghanaians be worried at all by these developments in the U.S. market? Well, let me share some insights with you. Majority of the Ghana cedi and dollar-denominated bonds issued by government are taken up by foreign investors. This is mainly due to the high interest that they are being offered. Some analysts have maintained that most of these investors are lending to government just because of the zero interest being offered to them in the U.S. market. Therefore, if the rates start going up in the U.S., most of these investors might return to that market. This development might lead to government cost of borrowing hitting the roof if it still wants to compete with the U.S. government to attract these funds from investors. Again, there are plans to issue another Eurobond before the end of this year and even in 2016. Therefore, the possible rate hike might also not be good for government. But economist Doug McIntyre says the impact might not be that bad for the government of Ghana and even businesses in the country.
If you look at interest rates and the effect of the dollar, at some point the stuff really starts to pile up and it's a problem. But I think for a typical business, a business that has good credit rating, and for most individuals, it's not something that's going to be felt right away.
Government is expected to pay about $107 million every year as interest on the recent Eurobond issued. It has also set aside about 10 billion Ghana cedis to settle interest on loans taken recently.
And Deputy Finance Minister Mona Korte is optimistic Ghana can raise the remaining $500 million approved by Parliament at a lower cost. This is despite fears of a rise in global interest rates due to the Federal Reserve Bank's interest rate hike and the economic challenges in China. Speaking to Joy Business, Mona Korte said governments could negotiate to get interest below market rate.
We will need funds to continue to do the work that government has to do to deliver on projects and so forth. So we will need that additional 500 million at some point. But of course, we will be careful the terms upon which we do it and the cost of it. The last one that we did, although the price seemed high, we got a 15-year tenor. That in itself was a great achievement. So the price may not have been that great, but the tenor of 15 years was great. So for the next 500, we could do it either as a bond or another source of financing. So we are not fixed on any one particular way of doing it. In terms of interest rates, it's a matter of negotiations. This one was high, but we know that the interest rates in the US is coming from a very low level, so it's not as if it's shooting high up, but we'll be able to negotiate. Now, the sinking fund, which we have in place, which is a debt service reserve account, basically. It's an account where you voluntarily put money in there towards debt servicing. That alone gives a lot of confidence and comfort to lenders. And therefore, when you have such structures in place, they are able to give you loans at fairly reasonable prices, sometimes below market. So we are putting in all the structures to make sure that lenders gain confidence in our economy and what we are doing with respect to debt management, so we can get money at better rates.
And time to talk cash now. Wondering how your stock and commodity market is faring. John Amwako is here. John, do we have a lot of people trading today on the world market?
Unfortunately, the global market's actually seen some activity, but in Ghana, we are not seeing that much. Today, we had almost about 7 equities. I'm talking companies trading, but only 2 moved, okay? And those that moved, you're talking about ETI, which is EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, and Ghana Commercial Bank, all traded. They moved the market, but they moved the market in a negative direction, meaning that all those with their shares, or who own shares in these companies, are going to lose by almost about 5 basis points and then 31 basis points, respectively.
Which is a bad news.
It's a very bad news, actually. Leaving, you know, we had almost about 133 shares trading at a cost of about 50,000. A whole market trading that much, I think is really insignificant, and we should be doing more. But I think it all boils down to some of these economic activities going on in our country and the indicators that are coming up. It also tells you that investors aren't that confident going forward. That's exactly what it is, especially foreign direct investors. Okay, so I think that is what it is. And with the commodities market, it's giving us some hope. As you can see, cocoa is actually gaining almost about $26.
That's a good news.
Exactly, to close almost about 3,285. 80% today gain. It lost yesterday. Today it has gained. So I think we are seeing something. And gold, for almost about 3 consecutive days, has been gaining. So that also tells the global market that at least gold is coming back, as the dollar is also gaining momentum against other currencies. Right. So we should be watching how the dynamics plays out here. So I think that is exactly what it is for commodities. And then against for the currencies, the cedi still keeps losing, okay, to the major trading currencies, talking about the US dollar, the British pound, and the euro. The Chinese yuan actually has been hanging in there over a while now because, you know, the Chinese have their own problems at all. So I think basically it's not been that good, especially after the minister read the budget yesterday. So these are some of the dynamics playing out there in the markets. It's been fairly unstable, and investors are actually just developing that wait-and-see attitude going forward. And now that Fitch and Moody's are also downgrading us, we should actually have a lot more to do as a country. So I think that's
confidence. I agree, John.
Exactly. So that's our market for today.
All right. Thank you very much, John Amwako. So you have it. Now you see how the market is faring. At least we have some good news with cocoa and gold, so you know how to invest. My name is Eton Amse. That's how we wrap up with business.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has announced 2 projects meant to encourage innovative sanitation technologies in services in Ghana. The projects were unveiled as part of an event marking World Toilet Day.
The World Bank's Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Sanitation Innovation Fund is worth $1 million over the next 3 years and will support promising and innovative ideas in sanitation. The second fund, the Sanitation for Ghana Challenge, is a contest for MMDAs to come up with strategies to improve urban liquid waste management in their areas. The solutions must eliminate open defecation and increase access to basic sanitation for all.
They will pull partners together, innovators who have technology, financiers. They will bring along NGOs who can do behavior change, communication, suppliers of sanitation products and materials. They will bring them together, and then they will then plan how to now execute the delivery of the services to the needy people. Most of the donors have gone to rural sanitation, but urban sanitation is lagging behind. In fact, if you look at urban sanitation, apart from Ghana, where World Bank is supported, it's only Accra. The whole other country, the 9 regions are all not covered by anything. That is why we are launching this. The gap is that we don't have inclusive partners for service delivery. That's where the gap is. Private people have technologies that they are having, but they don't have the space or the market to go in and do. So what this project initiative is trying to do is to pull all those entrepreneurs, small, medium, and then big enterprises, bring them together to be able to deal with the liquid waste management problem. So access to sanitation is one of it. Definitely when you get a toilet, we don't also want to go in and create a situation where there are so many toilets being provided and then we are creating a lavender hill situation. So your strategy should be comprehensive enough that if you are providing 1,000 houses a toilet, how are they treating and managing the excreta?
Mayor of Accra, Alfred Oko-Vanderpoy, said 6,558 households in low-income areas such as Glife and Choko will receive household toilets as a benefit of the ongoing Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Sanitation and Water Project.
We instituted 5 years ago a bylaw asking that everybody should have toilet in their homes. Since then, we have prosecuted about 5,000 cases, from which over 6,000 individuals have provided toilet facilities in their homes. We have recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the School of Hygiene, and we are going to utilize the students in a way that we will provide them opportunity in the metropolis to monitor what we expect in the sanitation standards.
Deputy Minister of Local Governments, Nilante Vanderpoy, told the participants of the 2015 World Toilet Day event in Bukom that his ministry is working with development partners to improve the sanitation situation in the country.
The ministry, with support from other development partners, has developed a couple of innovative strategies and interventions to eradicate open defecation and support poor households to acquire latrines. Thousands of rural communities have been sensitized to stop open defecation through the community-led total sanitation approach with support from the Dutch government.
Staying on World Toilet Day, on this day, the world turns its focus on those who don't have access to facilities for getting rid of one of the waste products of the human body. Many areas in Accra don't have toilet facilities, but Joy News visited one of Accra's cleanest public toilets. Mahama also has more.
Today is World Toilet Day, and I've come out of the comfort of the studio to Kole Wako. It's in the Ododo constituency, and I'm right in front of a public toilet. I want to find out why people come here. And obviously, because most of them don't have the toilet facilities in their home. Even after all the advocacies, you would find later on when government is observing World Toilet Day, for instance, that different agencies, different groupings, you'll find civil society all gather trying to say that people who don't have toilet should own one in their homes. But it's not that easy. We talk, but what is reality is what you'd find here. I've got a lady here who've just finished using it. So what's your name?
Sabina.
Sabina, do you use this place every day?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me exactly what you've done, because I know that you can take your bath, you can also use the toilet. So which of the facilities did you use?
I used the toilet.
Okay, how much did you pay?
50 pesos for the toilet and 40 pesos for the graphic.
For the graphic, as in the paper that you used to? Okay, so you buy the paper and the...
I bought the toilet roll.
Toilet roll is how much?
50 pesos.
And then the graphic?
It's 40 pesos.
Okay. So how do you feel after using the place?
Oh, okay, I feel cool. It's very nice.
But don't you have a toilet where you live?
We have, but it's locked. That's why we always come here.
Why is it locked?
Okay, the key is with someone, and the person doesn't stay around our house, so it's like we have to come to the public toilet.
Okay. So, you know, when you're running, because usually you don't know what will happen to you. Anything can happen as we are standing here. When, you know, the pressure is really on and you want to do it so badly, what do you do? Do you run here all the time?
Yeah, sometimes I do run here.
Okay. So if you had one wish, I mean, because today is World Toilet Day, what would it be? To have a toilet that you can use at all times, or what?
Yeah, I would prefer to have a toilet so that I can use it all the time.
So, boss, what's your name?
Abdullah.
Abdullah, what have you come here to do?
Come bath and toilet.
So you do this every day?
Every day, yes.
How much you pay? 40 pesos. If you pay 40 pesos, then it means you went for graphic.
40 pesos. Toilet 40 pesos.
But the house where you do, you don't have a bathroom, then toilet for there?
No, I don't have.
Okay. So how many people there roughly?
People plenty.
So this place you like?
I like them.
So you will come every day?
Every day. Every morning, every night.
So it's World Toilet Day today?
Yes, accept it.
You have a toilet where you live? Do you have a toilet in your house?
We do, but they are not handling the place well. Yes.
Okay. So how many people are in the household where you live?
At my side, my wife and children.
Okay.
Yes.
But you have other families also in the house?
No.
Okay. But the toilet there is not good enough. That's why you come here.
Yes,
so how much do you spend? Do you do this in the evening as well?
No, morning time I do come here. Yes.
Okay. So how much do you spend every day?
40 pesos.
40 pesos. Would you want to continue coming here, or you would wish that the situation in your house improves?
If my place is fine, they did the renovation, or I'll be there. Yes.
My name is Lauricia.
Lauricia. Okay. So do you come here every day?
Yes.
So you're going to school?
Yes.
But you have to come here to do what?
To come and go to toilet.
Okay. You don't have a toilet in your house?
No.
Okay. So you come here alone by yourself?
Yes.
How much do you pay?
20 pesos.
20 pesos. Okay. I've caught up with the manager of this facility to tell us some of his challenges, for instance. Mr. Asante, how many people would you say come here every day? I know the figures will be different, but ideally, how many people do you say would come here every day?
I can say 1,000, yeah. We call like 1,000 people plus visiting this place, because we have the male and the female and the bathhouse. So combined together, more than 1,000 people.
And then you have the children too.
Oh yeah, that's why I say more than 1,000.
So what are your challenges? What are the difficulties managing the place?
Our difficulties is, one of the difficult things is when increments come, you see the people will be fighting with you here and there, but they have to agree with bear with us, because we buy chemicals, we pay workers, you see, we make sure the place look very neat, because if you go around this, let me say, I can say we have the best toilet so far. So sometimes they will misbehave, unless sometimes we bring police in before they will agree with the fee.
How many people do you employ to take care of the place?
We have 4 cleaners, 7 workers, both male and female.
So do they run like a shift system?
Yes, you come. As for the cleaners, the 2 will start in the morning and 2 will continue from 2 to 10 p.m.
Are you running 24 hours? Because as for toilets, anything can happen.
Yeah. As for this place, we are running 24 hours. We have somebody who will take over from 10 o'clock to dawn 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
So when the lights go off, how do you manage?
We have a standby generator.
Oh, you have a standby generator here.
So we have been using the generator.
Okay. All right. On World Toilet Day, what are your expectations?
For now, I think keeping the place neat will be the best, because when you are visiting the toilet and the place is not neat, I don't think you feel comfortable to visit that place again.
Thank you, and enjoy World Toilet Day. I don't know what that means, but enjoy it all the same. Thank you so much for talking to us. Whatever you do is World Toilet Day. We do it in the morning, we do it in the evening. Sometimes it comes unexpectedly. Whichever way it comes, enjoy World Toilet Day.
Whatever that means, actually. But going to the loo is something we all take for granted, but for others, as you realized, it's a fee-paying venture, and it usually involves a short trip away from your home. We're taking a break. We bring you international. Ifwakwa Singh is here to tell us what's coming up on JN Interact, and I'll be surprised if you don't tell us anything, or you don't give us anything about World Toilet Day.
Of course, World Toilet Day is trending, and here in Ghana, local government admits it has not been able to enforce the building of toilets in every house, especially in the capital, Accra. So Seems public toilet is big business.
Ideally, how many people do you say would come here every day?
I can say 1,000, yeah. We call like 1,000 people plus visiting this place because we have the male and the female and the bathhouse. So combined together, more than 1,000 people.
We'll be taking your comments on a very special ranking that we've placed second on. So stay tuned for that. Doomsaw, load shedding, power crisis. There seems to be a difference.
Light at any point in time without informing the beneficiaries. And load shedding is about planning to take off the light at a particular place and giving light at a particular place.
People have been sending in their definitions all day on social media. Please send yours too. We'll be taking a look when I return with the interactive segment. Israel.
Well, I also have my own thoughts on it. I'll share that with you when we come back for the interactive segment. But also, in the second hour of the bulletin, we have sports, we have entertainment all coming up. Please stay tuned. We're back in a bit. Time now for a recap of the top stories on Joy News Prime. President Mahama is once again taking on the opposition New Patriotic Party on Ghana's high debt profile, saying rather than condemn him, his government deserves commendation for attracting more revenue than any other regime. The police have put on a display ahead of the launch of Operation Father Christmas, it says, should deter crime this Yuletide. NAGRATS is protesting frequent headcounts and inspection of teacher certificates and its impact on teaching and learning. In business, ratings agency Moody's is giving Ghana a B3 negative, saying government is expected to spend more than 30% of the country's revenue on the 2016 election. And the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has unveiled 2 sanitation projects to coincide with World Toilet Day. Now, the Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Nimoy Thompson, is asking heads of second cycle institutions to help the Commission implement its proposed 40-year development plan. According to him, the plan includes a policy to improve the current infrastructure in second cycle institutions. Dr. Nimoy Thompson was speaking to Joy News after a regional consultative forum in Cape Coast.
The Central Region is the 6th region to host the Regional Consultative Forum of the National Development Planning Commission. The forum was organized to collate views of residents as part of the Commission's work towards the 40-year development plan. Dr. Nimoy Thompson bemoaned how structures in the country's schools are not being given enough prominence to help the teaching and learning processes. According to him, the country's development process will suffer a jolt if there is no conscious attempt at improving educational structures.
And this is a reminder that, in fact, our efforts to have a long-term national development plan are actually very much appropriate, but we cannot take the future for granted. 40 years ago, no one really thought about improving the facilities here. We just thought things would happen by themselves. They haven't, clearly. There's a building there that was started in 1987, has still not been completed. You look at the windows there, they're all cracked. And yet these are the facilities that are supposed to produce our engineers and architects and medical doctors in the country. We cannot, as a nation, go on like this. So it's good to be connected to something that I'm intimately familiar with. This is not something that someone is telling me about or something I'm reading in the newspaper. This is a place I actually attended school in, and I'm back over 40 years. I've seen very little change, and it worries me. And it's also a reminder that as a nation, we need to be more aggressive in planning our future, having a better image of our future than we have now. So it wouldn't just be basic schools, but also second cycle students. For all practical purposes, they are the ones who will be here when Ghana turns 100 years old. One of the students here on this campus may very well be the president of Ghana by 2057, but we don't want 2057 to come with these kinds of facilities.
Central Regional Minister Aquinas Kwanzaa noted with concern the lack of political will to pursue some simple development needs of the country. This, he says, has left the country lagging behind among its peers.
Countries like Uganda, countries like Kenya, countries like Rwanda that came to learn from us how they can implement their local governance system. We in Ghana now go back to Uganda. We have what we call the Kigali experience. We go back to Rwanda. Rwanda was rebuilt only in the early 90s. But we go back to Rwanda to learn from them. Meanwhile, all these countries came to pick a model from Ghana.
Richard Kodonyako's report from Cape Coast.
President John Mahama has rounded off his Changing Lives tour with a major rally in the Volta region. Now, he's had quite a few things to say to the opposition New Patriotic Party. Let's hear some of what he's had to say.
Indeed, the minority held a press conference on the economy. And at the press conference, they said, this government has borrowed a lot of money, and they don't know what we have done with the money. Then it means they are sleeping in parliament. Because this government cannot borrow one single loan without taking it to parliament for approval. And in the approval, you have to write everything you are going to do, use the money for. So if you are the same people approving the loans for us in parliament, and you said we don't know what, you don't know what we are doing with it, then you don't deserve to be in parliament.
Right, so Hubert Mauli Hevu has joined us from the Volta region with what else the president has been saying. Good evening to you, Hubert. Now, tell us, the president had quite a bit to say about the opposition MPP. Is there any other thing else that was captured?
Well, the president has also been criticizing the opposition for the troubles the New Patriotic Party is having in their internal politics. He, at a point, questioned who exactly the chairman of the New Patriotic Party is, referring to a day when the acting chairman was addressing a press conference. The same day, the suspended chairman, Paul Afoko, was also addressing another press conference saying he was the chairman. So he referred to that particular situation as worrying and said that obviously that is not a party that deserves to be in government come 2016, and that the NDC was a formidable party compared to the New Patriotic Party. He also lashed at the recent press conference held by the minority, reacting to his comment on his competence, which he made a few days ago. And he referred to that particular press conference as a rabbit press conference, making an analogy of chasing an elephant, targeting an elephant, and getting into shooting a rabbit. So for him, there's no time to shoot a rabbit whilst targeting an elephant. So he will not respond further to any response from the New Patriotic Party in that direction. So in terms of what he's been saying about the opposition, he's said quite a lot, including the criticisms of the New Patriotic Party.
All right, Hubert, one other thing that he brought up is the 1 million gap. Can you explain to us exactly what the NDC wants to do with a stretch of 1 million votes?
Well, the party in the region has set a target for itself to make the difference between the number of votes that they will get in the 2016 election and that of the New Patriotic Party, the opposition, the difference being 1 million votes. That is to say that whatever the New Patriotic Party gets and what the NDC gets, obviously, the difference should be 1 million votes, and for which the regional executives have tasked all the constituencies to do their bit in ensuring that it culminates into what their efforts culminate into a total victory for the NDC in the party, in the region. That's the party executives explained as the Operation 1 Million, which the president launched today.
Right. What else has he been doing apart from this rally?
The president has also been commissioning he commissioned the permanent campus of the University of Health and Allied Sciences, where one of the schools have been completed, one of the schools, which is the School of Biomedical and Basic Sciences, have been completed at Soko-de-Lokwe. It happened to be one of the campaign promises, political promises made the region in the 2008 election during the time of the late President Mills. And today the president had opportunity of commissioning the structures there at the University of Health and Allied Sciences.
All right, thank you very much, Hubert. We're taking a break at this point. When we come back, we bring you entertainment. Adum praise indeed Yebe him, and Miss G is here to tell us all about that.
Yes.
Good evening to you.
Good evening, Israel. You know that all is set for Saturday, and need I tell you what's going to happen? Hezekiah Walker is already in town, and the organizers have much more to tell us. Okay, so like I said, on the 21st, Hezekiah Walker.
And it's just this Saturday.
Just the Saturday. Okay, saying 21st is like some years to come. But let's listen to the organizers.
All our people who are home, who are waiting and itching to come to the Airtel Adum Praise 2015, we are telling them that it's going to be one exciting worship and praise zone led and filled by the Spirit of the Lord over here. So if you are home and you haven't bought your ticket yet, you need to go out, tell your friends, and grab a ticket and be here. Because it's going to be one kind of a show. We have on the bill Hezekiah Walker and his Love Fellowship Choir coming all the way from the United States of America, coming to Ghana to come and fellowship, to praise, and to lead our worship to God. And then in our Ghanaian palace also, we have Joe Metal, Anite Friye, Selina Boatin, Koda, and Alabasta Box. That will be helping us to raise the worship and praises to the Most High God. So come Saturday, as you can see here with the setup and everything is coming together. It's going to be one exciting show. For those who are home, who are wondering, how can I get to the venue? And if I close, how am I going to get home? We have it covered. All you have to do is get to the venue and be part of the show. After the show, we're going to have buses that will carry you to your various destinations. Whether you live in Nungwa, Sema, Kaswa, Circle, Medina, wherever you live, we're going to have buses that can convey you safely into your neighborhoods for you to get home safely.
And that is my favorite Hezekiah Walker song. I love the song. It tells a lot. You know, I'm favored. Aren't you?
I am favored too.
It's more reason why we should be there.
Praise God.
Amen. Hallelujah.
All right. The one other thing they're doing with this Adum Praise, with this particular Adum Praise that I think is exciting, is the fact they're making buses available to convey people to the various destinations.
To ensure their safety.
Because you know, when you have such huge events and crowds coming, and they close, then you have the taxi drivers exploiting people.
True.
Because they're going to charge you an arm and a leg to carry you wherever you're going.
And even if they charge you that and you get home safely, then thank God, because sometimes there are other people who are also out there to do other businesses. You might be driving a taxi, but they are there to rob you.
So it's exciting. I like the fact that they're going to convey you at least to some vantage point. Maybe they're going to take you to a central place in Tema or Nungwa or wherever.
All the way, Kaswa, Central Region. Can you believe that?
Yeah, exactly. And then from that point, it's going to be a lot easier for you
to get home.
To get home. So that's really good. Thumbs up to the organizers of Adum Praise. All right. What else is coming up?
The Mo Ibrahim concert. Yes, the Mo Ibrahim concert. Actually, there was the press briefing today. We were talking about the concert that is also taking place on the 21st. And we're going to have some world-class artists. You want to know more about that?
Do we know who?
Yes, you're going to know who now.
Big night, which is Saturday, which is the free concert happening at the Independence Square, with the likes of Sako Deer, Stoneboy, multi-award-winning Beam Nation man, Stoneboy performing as well, together with Patch Bay Band. We also have Angelique Kijo and Yusu Ndor performing as well. So it's a big night full of African legends and icons and rising legends. So we're expecting a good show tomorrow, come Saturday. And we're going to climax the whole weekend on Sunday with a football match at the Accra Sports Stadium.
That's it for the Mo Ibrahim concert.
Right.
Yes. Now, have you been verified on Twitter?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I think my verification shouldn't be too far away.
Hey, I'm excited for you. But Miss V has been verified, so she has a verified album. Yesterday she met the press and she spoke to us extensively about this album. And, you know, amazingly, she says this one is about her.
Oh boy, you're not ready now.
The first album was more, you know, jumpy and we're having fun kind of album. But this one is more of me. It's more of what I like to sing. It's more of who I am. So even though there are some funny topics on there, this album is more of who I am.
Bicycle boy, me, I don't stop riding. Me physically fit.
Right, so Miss V gets to do Miss G.
Yeah, it kind of rhymes,
what's
you know.
going on? Anyway, Miss V has this line that she does for Mama V.
Okay.
It goes like.
You're chilling with my home girl, Mama V, you know.
I like that. Okay.
Well,
so from Miss V.
To a rather sad story. And you remember in Commode, comedian in Commode, during the concert party days, now he's taken ill and he's battling with bladder infection. And he says that it's as a result of frustration. Whilst he was doing very good, he built a house. His wife took the house from him. They had an issue of divorce, and he traveled outside the country, abused alcohol, and he was warned to stay away from alcohol. But when he got down back here to Ghana, he had a lot of his friends or peers mocking at him. So he had to go back take back to drinking.
Or you mean peer pressure? He got into back into alcoholism because of peer pressure.
And now he's got the infection of the bladder. He has a kidney problem as well. And the pathetic thing about the story is that he has to be in diapers 24/7 because the medication he's having. He was actually hospitalized for 7 months, and they actually let him go. And the medication he's having, he has to weary on himself, like he can't help himself. He has a protrude. It's not something.
Is he able to foot his bills? Because I can imagine that.
He says
that's gonna cost quite a bit.
He says that in the whole of the industry, there's only one person that has helped in funding some of his bills, and that's Akobeto. Nobody else has asked of him and any other thing about him. Quite sad.
Yeah,
quite sad.
way too.
Now, let's move to Nigeria, and it's Nigerian actress. She's called Maureen Ihu, and she has actually been kidnapped by unknown persons, and they are asking for a 10 million naira ransom.
Has she been kidnapped for real?
Yes, she has. She has. This is not a movie.
No, because sometimes some people say they've been kidnapped, and the next thing they show up and they say, "I staged my own kidnapping."
No, not that kind of kidnap. This is
so for real.
Yes, she was kidnapped in Port Harcourt, and they said that the people who kidnapped her are asking for a 10 million naira ransom before we see Maureen ever again.
Oh, that's gross.
And finally, before I leave you, you know how to sing Ed Sheeran's "Thinking Out Loud"?
Which one is that?
Thinking out loud.
No, I don't know.
You don't know how to sing it?
No.
Okay. I bring you a little girl who has a cover, maybe, of Ed Sheeran's. True. Okay, so we're doing your cover. Now, I'm sure you can sing some lines in that song.
People fall in love mysterious ways.
Really?
I don't know.
That's your cover. That's your version.
Yeah, but actually
okay.
Sing it.
Let's do it for the last time. I give you a last try.
No, you do it.
No, I'm giving you a last try.
Well, I've done my bit, so you do yours too.
I'll allow you today. Tomorrow.
No, you're not singing?
No, I actually
I did
sing
mine.
first. No, you didn't.
Oh, Miss G.
So tomorrow, you get to sing a live for them. That's it for entertainment, easy.
Thank you very much, Miss G. Even though you didn't sing, we'll be back with sports. Please stay tuned. All right, time for sports. Before we get on to the sport, Gary Al Smith, you were just giving me a rhyme. I was asked to sing Ed Sheeran's song.
Baby, something.
That's not your way.
Oh,
okay, yours is bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay.
Where my dogs at? something now.
You know what's coming up in sports?
Izzy, busy, boy, we're getting dizzy.
Oh,
yes.
Yo, Faber Crew.
Bugger forward crew. Yes, TP Mazembe for Chrome. That's what we have in the sport today. Now, this weekend, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening with the Mo Ibrahim Foundation. You might have heard about it in the news. It's happening live now. And as part of the commemoration of the event, in the next 3 days, the Ghana Dream Team will be formed. It's a collection of the best players in Ghana. They'll be playing against TP Mazembe, who have just been crowned champions on Africa. They'll be landing in Ghana tomorrow, and we have the updates on what you should expect.
And I'm very, very happy that we are playing the team that's just won the African Champions League. It's a very good thing to play against them, so that the local boys that we have in the country, the whole Africa and even the world will see that we have potentials here. So I will urge all the players that will participate in the game to come and represent the team 100%. I myself have prepared myself very well for this game because it's very, very important for me. I love football, so anytime I had a call to play football, I always try to give my best. If I'm not 100% fit, I will just stay at home and relax. So
I would say that come Sunday, we give all that in us, we give up our best and do our best to win the game. So I urge all the supporters and everyone to come and support us.
So Larry Kingston will be one of the players who will be in action. It's the Dream Team 11 versus TP Mazembe, and that game will be this weekend at the Accra Sports Stadium. Over in Europe, and Jurgen Klopp says he's yet to give Daniel Sturridge his first appearance since joining Liverpool as head coach. Don't forget that Sturridge has been injured for about 5 weeks now, and Klopp says he doesn't want to rush the striker, even though he admits that he's